Let me take you to the world of Hunter x Hunter. At first glance, the continents feel familiar. That's because the map of Hunter x Hunter is not entirely alien. It's as if the Earth's geography was thrown into a blender and then stitched back by a cartographer with a sense of humor. It tells us that the known human world of the Hunter x Hunter is roughly Earth-sized. But here's the insane twist. Everything that the mankind knows, all of civilization, exists on a tiny scrap of land, floating like a lonely island in the middle of an unimaginably huge body of water, Lake Mobius. And beyond that lake lies a monstrous stretch of terrain so vast and lethal, it has earned the title of the Dark Continent. Whether this was a part of Togashi's plan since day one or a genius retcon doesn't even matter. Because the Dark Continent is the origin point, the primal well, from which all the Hunter x Hunter's biggest mysteries flow. It's the land that Jing went out to explore, leaving gone behind. A place teeming with treasure and knowledge that could catapult us to a godlike evolution or wipe us out like a bad software update. To put it into perspective, everything that the humans have done so far feels like a toddler's scribbles compared to what's out there. In fact, calling those ants might be a bit generous, especially because we have already met this universe's version of the ants, the Chimera ant, and they nearly steamrolled humanity. Here's the cold math. Only 0.04% of all the total expeditions to the Dark Continent end in survival. That is less than 0.1%. This makes one thing crystal clear. We were never meant to go there. Even the weakest native species over there can easily break our understanding of biology, strength, and death. So what happens when we meet the alpha predators? You would think the humanity is doomed, right? Well, maybe, just maybe, there might be a strategy. Think of it as a survival-based expansion pack of Greed Island, but built for nightmares. Anyway, let's fast forward to something legendary. A book published centuries ago shook the foundation of this world. It was titled Journey to the New World, written by the only known explorer to enter the Dark Continent and live to tell the tale. He came back with knowledge beyond imagination, only to be laughed off as a lunatic. Critics trashed it. The literary community didn't just dislike it, they mocked it into oblivion. It was labeled garbage tier fiction, forgotten, buried, ridiculed. His warnings? Tossed aside as fantasy ramblings. But then the world changed. Strange things began surfacing. Corpses mishappened beyond recognition. People shrinking into horrifying shells of themselves. Detached limbs growing back with impossible mutations. Severed heads birthing new, grotesque organisms. And sightings, creatures that didn't follow the rules of this world. Biology, physics, logic, none applied. It was like cosmic horror that took a shot at natural selection. Eventually, the truth surfaced. These weren't natural evolutions, these were imports. And calling them gifts would be the galaxy's worst joke. These were calamities, each with their own codename and their own catastrophic body count. And here are top 5 just to ruin your sleep schedule. Number 1. Zober disease, aka the immortality disease. The disease that sounds like it was named after a rejected Resident Evil boss. Officially nicknamed the immortality illness. About 50 years ago, before the current events, Kikaniu Kingdom got adventures and sent a group of explorers to Dark Continent. They literally feed on their own regenerating flesh. Rion, the headless botanical wrecker. Physically, it's a figure with human body with a smooth orb as a head. Hellbell, murder snake from the swamp. Alright, next on the list is Hellbell. I don't know who's naming these things, but whoever is, they deserve a raise. And therapy. Freecss says that it infects people with bloodlust. The literal god complex cloud, or the gaseous life form. Anyone infected by this starts believing that they are the second coming. Path, the Lovecraftian womb monster, or as I like to call it, the why was this ever conceived monster. It's an entity that hijacks the reproduction process. Here's the punchline. All of these were brought back on purpose by humans for research. Translation, we poked into humanity's deadliest monsters just because we could. And guess what? These aren't even the worst ones. These are some of the few ones that we have survived long enough to give names to. Now imagine signing up for another trip out there. That's exactly what's happening now. The Kagan Empire's royal family, they have turned a voyage to the Dark Continent into a blood-stained chess game. And the destination? The edge of the known world. They actually think that they can colonize the Dark Continent. That is absolutely bonkers. Like sending ants to terraform black hole. You can't help but respect the audacity. In the heart of it all stands Kurapika, risking everything, completely unaware that Nen might not even be the dominant power anymore. Because beyond that veil, there could be forces, systems, entities that render our strongest abilities completely obsolete. So where does that leave us? Exactly where Togashi wants us, gripped by fear, hungry for answers, and hopelessly outmatched.